Hello, welcome to Tuesday morning of the show. I am your host, head of Fanbyte Media, John Warren. I've got two guests today. Only one of them's here right now. The other one's running late. But joining me today is our very own Mike Williams. Hello, Mike.
Hello, hello. How's everybody doing today? Fine morning.
It's a fine Tuesday morning. Also, who will be joining us is Steven Strom. Steven Strom is running late at an appointment that started late. I can't believe. I mean, just people in the medical profession, the gall to start late
All the time, actually.
all the
Like,
time.
like they're like, hey, if you don't get to the appointment within 10-15 minutes, we will charge you.
Uh huh.
But then you get to the appointment late, and they don't come in for like another 20-30
Yeah,
minutes.
they make your ass wait. It's terrible.
It's it's shameful.
It's bullshit. It's really bad. Mike, have you did you play Cyberpunk 2077?
A bit, and then I stopped.
A bit, and then you stopped, which is like it's still on the waiting screen. What do you mean? No, Funkle, I think you maybe have an issue. Sorry, I'm being told we're still on the waiting screen, but I don't think there's any way that that's possible. Um, yeah, I think that describes basically everyone, right? Well, not everyone. Some people played it to completion. I know Ken Shepard did. I know Natalie played to the bitter end, I believe. But yeah, I mean the current gen version was totally broken, and then when I played it on PC, it's better, but it doesn't. It it still had massive flaws. What made you kind of bounce off of it? Do you think?
For me, I mean, like it was fine. Like there were some bugs, but uh it wasn't entirely hooking me.
Right.
Like it wasn't particularly that far out there
Yeah.
that I needed to stick with it. And also at the time, um, the previous jobs, generally I was reviewing a lot of stuff. So if I'm not reviewing it, I just wouldn't play it.
Right.
So the amount of time I had to just play it, like unless it's really hooking me, I would
Yeah.
just move on very
Yeah.
quickly.
Yeah. Um, yeah. So this morning, the Cyberpunk folks announced that the next gen updates come with 1.5 that's launching today. Um,
Which a lot
so
of people expect.
which a lot of people expected. Yeah. Once they announced some stuff, there were listings on the Xbox online shop, I believe, that basically mentioned as much. So yeah, this stuff is live now. I believe it's got some pretty. I mean, I don't know. I'm not gonna say they're game changing changes. In fact, before I even continue watching this footage, I'm gonna read what the folks at GameSpot have listed. Let's see. Obviously, it's gonna look better. It's gonna have ray tracing, 4K dynamic scaling, better load times that you'd expect, especially on PS5. Um, and uh, yeah, Blackjack Attack. Yeah, the cake is a lie. There is a cake is a lie joke in Cyberpunk. But it's coming back around again, I guess, because they're releasing Portal. All right, so what else is there? Quote: a ton of stuff is being changed in the 1.5 update. They're redoing the talent trees, so you can basically respec right as soon as you update, and they've removed some perks like the one where you can't be detected underwater, which always did seem like a useless perk to grab to me. There's a new perk about throwing knives, which I never played with at all. Um, so yeah, uh, there basically gameplay changes to make playing aggressively more viable. I didn't actually feel like this game was tough if you wanted to play it that way, but maybe it was for some folks. Um, some NPCs will apparently have weapons and try to attack you in certain situations. Sure, the driving model's been changed to make cars feel heavier. You would have to do a lot more to the driving to make that feel good. I don't know.
I mean, it's not just that. Like, so there's a lot of small bugs,
Yeah.
a lot of game breaking bugs, a lot of weird stuff. Like when people realize that the police would appear, like
Uh huh. Yeah, they would just
just
spawn
wherever you
behind
turn
you.
around,
Uh huh.
and that's just not particularly great.
No,
Like,
it's it's one of those things that can pull you out of the immersion immediately. Just kind of, if you can see exactly how the systems work, it really, really, really pulls you out.
right. And I get the feeling that they promised a lot,
Yeah.
and then what ended up having it's feature creep or feature bloat.
Mm-hmm.
And then as they got closer to shipping, things had to get cut. Like
Yeah.
I recently played Dying Light 2, and you can feel some of that too
Yeah.
in sort of the story and choice systems. But I feel like Cyberpunk probably had a little bit more of that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like I have people that really like the game that think it pulls off stuff,
Yeah.
which is fine. I just uh the hype was a lot. Um,
Yeah.
enough that it's still financially successful,
Oh
even if
yeah.
it doesn't have the long tail that they're probably used to.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people, myself and definitely included, expected this game to have kind of um, the Witcher 3 kind of long tail, and also just like, I don't know. That's a game I want to go back to periodically. And Cyberpunk, I even though I actually played this game for I want to say maybe 15 hours last year on PC. I rarely want to go back to it because it's just so um, it's devoid of even the most basic kind of like Bethesda quest design stuff. Like it's not really a ton of interesting stuff happening. Um, so I don't know. It needed more work than this. It needed to be something almost totally different, honestly, to make it work for me, which is that's a tall ask. I
And,
feel
and
like.
I and I think minus some of the most egregious bugs and probably some of those systems like the
Mm-hmm.
police or the driving,
Right.
it probably would have been pretty well received.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, People are generally pretty forgiving as long as your landing isn't too hard.
Yeah, totally. I mean, to that point, totally. Like Bethesda games are incredibly buggy, and they have never really even seems like made an effort to fix the engine that causes a lot of these problems. And it is mostly fine because a lot of the other things kind of click together. And I would say even Bethesda has a lot of issues with that stuff. And I feel like this foray into that kind of game, that kind of Fallout, that kind of Elder Scrolls kind of vibe of a game. Um, yeah, it's been rough sailing for CD Projekt Red. It makes me think that like whatever they do with Cyberpunk 2, which I think they are going to do, um, I would imagine that that game is going to fix a lot of this stuff, and then this will be a funny little footnote for them. But you know that's probably a decade out. Um, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I wish him luck. Not, it's one of those things like not to the degree that uh, companies are made of people.
Yeah,
So there are always like employees that poured their blood, sweat, and tears into
sure.
this game.
Yeah,
And I generally want those people to get out of putting like when you put 5 years of your life into a game, I would like for you to get out of that the satisfaction that it was a job well done.
yeah,
So
right.
hopefully they, and yes, tied to that is always the fact that executives that caused the situation in the first place um, still get out scot-free regardless.
Uh-huh.
See Bobby Kotick of Activision Blizzard.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but some of that is just like, I mean, the man partially owns the company, so he's going to get out. Like,
Yep.
there's nothing you can actually do to make it so that he's not going to benefit from the company being sold.
Right. Yeah. There's
Would be cool, but no, it's just not actually a thing that happens.
and you can kind of see here the floaty combat in this game. It's fast, but it's got that weird kind of non-impact to it. It doesn't have a lot of weight to the melee stuff. Anyway, not many folks are getting this right. Dying Light 2 gets it better than most, right? Kind of first-person melee stuff.
Better, it takes a while for it
Okay.
to really like get in there and get good. Like they sold the parkour combat with the vault over a person
Right.
and kick thing. That never, at least to me, feels great.
Right.
Like it never, at no point was I like, oh, okay, this is great. But they add later moves that work much better.
Okay.
So eventually it all does come together,
Yeah.
but no, I didn't think that that was particularly
Strong.
uh strong in the beginning. It got
Okay.
a lot better once you get stuff like wall jumping and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and you can do some different stuff. Then it's like, okay, all right, all right, all right.
Nice.
Um, which was some people's problem with the game.
Yeah.
That some of the idea that your best foot forward shouldn't be locked behind or gated behind progress,
Right.
which is probably true.
Yeah. This game, this scene in this is brand new footage, by the way, of the PS5 version of the game, which does it does look better than the PS4 version of the game that I played on PS5, which there's no denying that. But it also highlights the fact that people are a fucking sponge in this game. That guy took I want to say 40 or so katana hits before he died. It's just kind of an annoying. To me, it's an annoying way to do this kind of combat. But I don't know. That's nitpicky at this point.
Yeah, I admit I've never quite been on. I mean, I do. I want to say I have. I'm not as big on Elder Scrolls as a lot of people,
Sure.
but I have bought Skyrim like 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, that's they
Um,
got you. Todd got you.
uh, but the combat isn't great, and
Right.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. But yeah, this is out now. The next gen 1.5 update. Presumably all these fixes and bug fixes and perk fixes are also on the PC version, of course. Which is what I play and what I would still recommend people play because it's the version that has worked the best, the longest. But yeah, I'm sure a lot of people would be picking this up and checking it out for maybe the first time or coming back to it after a disappointing first try. But yeah, this is expected, but yeah, still fairly big news for a Tuesday morning. But you know what, Mike? We had Super Bowl Sunday a couple days ago, and a new movie trailer dropped for Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which is, sorry, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And it's distinct from the little stinger that they did at the end of Spider-Man No Way Home, and I thought this trailer was very strong. So let's watch it.
Every night, I dream the same dream. And then, the nightmare begins. did what I had to do. To protect our world.
You cannot control everything, Strange. You opened the doorway between universes, and we don't know who or what will walk through it.
Wanda, what do you know about the multiverse?
Viz had his theories. He believed it was dangerous.
He was right.
I'm sorry, Stephen. Your desecration of reality will not go unpunished.
We should tell him the truth.
Things just got out of hand.
You break the rules. Look out! You become a hero. I do it, I become the enemy. It doesn't seem fair.
Okay. So that's a good trailer. Mike. Okay. Shuma Gorath.
Shuma Gorath.
I'm unfamiliar, but I just know who this is. Do you think this is at the beginning of the film? Because I kind of do.
It's absolutely at the beginning of the film. It's 100%. Also, according to Toys, so one of the things about all of these, of course, big machines of movie making, marketing, and merchandise is that a lot of the additional merchandise is already out the door.
Right.
So apparently this definitely looks like Shuma Gorath, but is called in the movie Gargantos, which is a different demon.
Wow.
And the guess that people have is that Shuma Gorath is originally a Conan thing. So a lot of people don't know that Conan the Barbarian, the Robert E. Howard character, was published by Marvel for a while. And when Marvel published stuff back in the day, they would just fold it into the universe. And Conan is back in the universe, but I assume for rights purposes, they don't want to like go directly at something and have to fight a legal battle later.
Right.
So that is definitely Shuma Gorath, but it is called something else. And a lot of people know it from
Marvel vs.
Capcom.
Yeah.
So yeah, it is definitely, they're like, oh, I mean, we have to do this guy. And then someone from legal like popped their head and it's like, well, I mean, we probably can't call it that.
Right. Wow. I had no
but
idea.
This is definitely at the beginning.
Yeah, I mean this screams the beginning of the movie. But let me think of some trailer specific questions before we get into some of the wilder stuff. Okay, so one thing that I think some people maybe weren't aware of because they maybe didn't stick around for the very end of No Way Home, which that's on you. You should know by now that Marvel's always going to stick something at the end of these things. With I think maybe one exception. Yeah, you should know that Wanda was in this, and that probably watching WandaVision is maybe very important to understand, I think, where she is in the story. Did you watch WandaVision, right?
Oh yeah, I watch all of these.
Yeah,
just finished Peacemaker last night, so.
Oh yeah, that one's I'm pleasantly surprised with Peacemaker.
Yeah, no, it's great.
Yeah. It's very good. John Cena, seriously, I did not figure him when I was watching him in WWE in 2005. I did not look at that guy and go, that guy's going to be a big movie star.
Yeah,
Um,
he was struggling for a while because
yeah,
I guess he was trying to do the Rock thing, and then I think it was I want to say it was like Blockers or something like that,
yeah,
and it was like, oh, he has pretty good comedic timing.
yeah, yeah, he does. Which was pretty clear with his wrestling stuff, but I guess he was just like, well, I'm built like this. I need to do comedy, and I mean, I need to do action drama, and it's like, no, I think it's the world's ready for a super yoked funny person. So,
Yeah.
um, anyway, um, Wanda just basically created a weird. This is spoilers for WandaVision, so if you want to dip, then dip for the next few minutes. I'll wave at you when we're done talking about WandaVision. But Wanda basically like leans the fuck into a lot of her magic shit in WandaVision in a way that she had not done previously in the films. So, including creating these little like basically a pocket dimension, a pocket universe where a lot of stuff was happening that wasn't necessarily true, and also manipulating a lot of people actually. So there's that line in this trailer that's basically she breaks the rules and becomes a villain, and yeah, I think her actions in WandaVision will probably have consequences. What do you think she's up to post WandaVision when we see her here?
So when she ends the stinger at the end of WandaVision
Yeah.
was she was in uh some cabin with the Darkhold, and then she hears her kids.
Mm,
Um, and I assume that's what she's trying to do. And given the multiverse part, um, maybe her kids are elsewhere in the multiverse, or there's a shot in the trailer with Wanda and another Wanda, and
yeah.
I wonder if she's trying to uh if that's from later in the film or the middle of the film, and she's trying to steal another version of her kids
Right.
from the other Wanda.
Damn.
Because I think that might be the WandaVision house, or at least
It
close to
looks.
it.
It looks. It looks like it looks like it maybe has 15% more production value crammed into it, but that is the WandaVision house. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So my guess is this shot that you've switched to
Yeah.
is either middle or later in the film, and she has gone to another world in the multiverse
Yeah.
and found a Wanda where her kids are stable, and she is just going to yoink them. I doubt she will.
Yeah.
Um, I would not be surprised if Wanda is the villain for most of this film,
Interesting.
but not the actual villain for the entire film.
Okay, so let me hit you with this because I did not I okay. All right. Yeah. I kind of figured that Strange would be tracking Wanda down kind of for her help, but now I'm kind of reading it differently. Like
I think he is,
yeah.
but I also think so. If you look, the one shot where they're in the orchard,
Yeah.
um, where they're talking together,
Yeah.
okay, and then from there, if you go to the shot later where she's like, "Hey, I do this stuff, and
Yeah,
I'm a
that becoming a
villain."
villain, yeah.
I think that might actually be the same scene.
Interesting.
Like
Yeah.
behind her is still the orchard, but it's
Interesting.
dark.
Yeah.
And so my guess is Strange comes to her and is like, "Hey, I need your help. You
Yeah.
think you could help a brother out?"
Yeah.
And she's like,
Mm.
I'm kind of the one doing it.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense. Because, I mean, Strange, so if you haven't seen, here, all right, I'm done talking about WandaVision. But we're about to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home. So, Strange basically the plot of No Way Home is extremely funny. I actually did not love that movie. I know a lot of people did, but I do think the overall conceit of the film was actually funny and good enough to like warrant kind of like a whole movie around it, and it definitely has like seismic consequences, I think, for the rest of the MCU. Um, Spider-Man basically just like wants Strange to like erase everyone's memory that he is Peter Parker. So Strange basically relents and does the spell, but as Spider-Man, it's like I love that scene, Mike, because it reminds me of like a contract negotiation, where it's like they're like he's in the middle of inking the contract while Spider-Man is realizing that the contract is very bad for him, so he just keeps trying to change it in the middle, and it creates this interdimensional rift, this multiverse kind of rift, which is then kind of the plot of that movie, but it obviously has consequences for the rest of it. Why? I mean, I'm not a comics person. Why does Stephen Strange just feel like he can do this shit without consequences?
That is an ongoing,
Okay.
and we will get into it more with the other stuff. But there are a number of characters in the Marvel universe who live up to that Malcolm quote from Jurassic Park. They were so focused on the fact that they could that they never thought to think if they
If
should.
they should, sure.
Like more energy than sense,
Right.
more talent than sense. And I get the feeling, uh, like in that film, Strange is no longer the Sorcerer Supreme,
Right.
and the technicality is apparently that he was blipped away with everyone else,
Right.
and then when he came back, Wong was Sorcerer. But then I also get the feeling that they're like, we, you're kind of reckless.
Yeah.
Like you're kind of a mess up.
Yeah.
So we're gonna let handle this,
Yeah.
and and I think that's probably going to carry through. I think probably in uh this film, Wong is going to remain the Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, it seems a little impulsive.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, he does know Peter Parker, but there had to probably been better ways to do this.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think it's definitely like kind of a weird backdoor into this plot, but like I guess I'm cool with it. Hey, we have a Steven Strom.
Hi.
Hi, welcome.
I assume I'm too late to add anything meaningful
No,
to
no,
the
no,
conversation.
no. We honestly
we
just started about like 5-10 minutes ago. So
It's
Great.
Dr. Strom
Yeah,
and the
Dr.
multiverse.
Strom.
yeah, no. I've been focusing a lot on like the hard stuff that happened in the trailer before I get to the really wild shit, because there's shots. We did talk about Shuma Gorath and how we think that's probably at the very beginning of the movie, and also how it's not going to be called that because of He-Man, which I did not know. So that's something I
wait.
learned.
Conan, yeah.
Yeah. Shumagorath is a jobber.
I
He is.
didn't know that, because Marvel vs. Capcom makes Shuma Gorath seem cool.
Yeah. No.
So
Um, yeah, so like why did Stephen Strange do this? I'm not gonna say that he doesn't do stupid shit in the comics. Like half of his comic plot lines are Stephen Strange did a thing
uh-huh.
and here are the consequences.
Okay.
Like
Yeah, go ahead.
this is something that like maybe the Marvel Cinematic Universe can be a little bit more open to, but it's one of the reasons for that. I feel like a lot of the time is like I was just saying about Shumagorath, the Marvel comics like have a. I've said this for a long time, Mike. You've heard me say this. They have a villain problem. They don't know who to make villains except them all their hero guys. Like, what if Stephen Strange was a bad guy?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and I brought this up, and this will be what we'll talk about later because that is essentially the entire point of the other thing.
Mm.
Yeah. I mean, I think a question I have real quick is, oh well, I mean, I guess an observation is, I guess we had Tony Stark at the first half of the MCU, who is basically the person doing this shit, but with technology, right? And so, I guess they figure they have to have a benevolent meddler in the second half, and that's just gonna be Doctor Strange. They can't give it to anyone that doesn't have a goatee. I feel like,
No, yeah.
goatee is a requirement.
They even Reed Richards grew a goatee in the comics when
Okay.
he became a bigger player.
All right, so
Yeah.
let's talk about that then, because there's this scene starting up at about the minute 10 mark is where we see Doctor Strange get arrested, I guess. Here, I'll just play it real
Not go
quick.
unpunished.
Yeah,
Okay.
those look like Ultron units, maybe.
They do. They look kind of like Ultron units. They look like kind of alternate, because they've got the little things on the ears.
Yeah, the ears are the real giveaway
The
for a lot of
ears
that
are the
stuff. Like
giveaway.
Cybermen.
The stuff in the middle, that's an Iron Man joint.
Yeah. So my guess on those is this is a reality where that worked out for him.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Because the whole Age of Ultron thing, Ultron was created because Iron Man wanted to put I forget what a suit of armor around the world.
Right. Which worked out great
And-
for evil Captain America.
Right. So I assume that the entire, like, those guys, this is a world, I guess, where Tony Stark succeeded.
Okay.
Or do you think, like, because so in the comics, Hank Pym is Ant-Man still, or well, no, he's not now, but he was for a while there, and is a much bigger player. He's a founding Avenger in the comics versus the movies, and he is the creator of Ultron. And there is like this is my son, or at least Ultron sees himself as Ant-Man, Hank Pym's son.
So
And-
zoom over to the left first. I'm gonna
Okay, all right,
move the other images over
Okay, all right.
as we talk about them.
Gotcha. Perfect.
So I could very easily see them, like, because I don't know that you could get Robert Downey Jr. back if you threw enough money at him, I bet, but
No,
Is it
the,
worth it?
the,
No.
the rumor, by the way, is that it is Tom Cruise playing
Who
an alternate
was
version.
rumored?
It is a rumor.
Yeah, and who was and the joke there, and Marvel can now pay off jokes like this.
Yep.
Tom Cruise was actually in the running for
To be Tony
Iron
Stark.
Man.
Yep.
Originally.
right.
So that is
That
that
is
is
the
where the
rumor.
rumors.
Yeah.
Yeah. But folks in the chairs, we at least hear Patrick Stewart,
Yeah.
Yes.
and we assume one of them is Tony Stark, and it's a strange movie. So the folks think that this is the MCU version of the Illuminati.
Yeah. The first
which-
Illuminati,
right?
presumably.
And so let's go back to the whiteboard, and I will drag over. See how long it takes for this to update.
Now, what the fuck is the Illuminati?
All right, this is the money.
Because one, I know by sight 5 of these people.
Yeah. To
But
get
one
John
of
named
them I
these
don't.
guys from starting with Iron Man, name them in clockwise order.
Oh, actually, now I'm realizing I may not know one. Oh, wait. Okay, hold on. Clockwise order started with Iron Man. Okay, Iron Man, that's Black Bolt.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
That's Doctor Strange. That's Reed Richards. I do not know
Yeah.
who that little imp is. And then there's
Legolas.
okay, and then there's Professor X, obviously.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay, so you knew most of them.
Yeah.
Yes. So these characters have been around in the Marvel universe for quite some time.
Yeah.
And this is the cover of New Avengers Illuminati by Brian Michael Bendis and a couple of other artists. And the idea was this was a retcon. At some point, Reed Richards brings together all of these people as the nominal heads
Uh-huh.
of various facets of the Marvel Universe.
Right.
Okay.
And he gives each of them one of the Infinity Stones.
Because
Oh,
they each
wow.
represent one of the stones like abilities, so like power, mind, time, etc. Because like, oh, you have some control over or some knowledge over this thing,
Right.
so this makes sense. Professor Xavier, it makes sense that we would give you the mind
The
stone
Mind
because
Stone.
we trust you to have mind powers, a guy who has never abused his mind powers in the
Never,
past
ever.
repeatedly.
Uh-huh.
And so the idea is behind the scenes, these very powerful dudes get together and try to fix things.
Okay.
And the problem, just from looking at the cover, and if you know any of these characters, is that they're all pretty much 50-50 evil already.
Yeah.
Like half of their plot lines over the years are this person breaks bad or this person does stupid thing. Like I was
This
saying
guy leads a
earlier.
war against this faction.
Yeah, like Doctor Strange doing a stupid impulsive thing is actually pretty in line with comic Doctor Strange. Like he's
Okay.
always like betting the world on doing something stupid.
Okay.
Because these five guys all think that, or sorry, six guys, they all think that they know what's best for everybody around them. And the
Right.
comic, the original New Avengers, this I think issue even addresses that pretty frankly, because they offer Black Panther to join them, and Black Panther, without saying it, but it's pretty, the writing is pretty much on the wall of like, you're a bunch of like 50 something white dudes who all think that you know what's best for the world,
Right.
and this is a bad idea. This is a bad idea to start with. You guys are the worst ones to be doing this. End this now. And then he like walks out of the room.
Okay.
Later on, they call back to that when the Illuminati, after the Illuminati gets disbanded, Black Panther is the one who calls them all back and is like, okay, actually we need a brain trust here to deal with some shit because the multiverse is dying. And that gets into Secret Wars many years later.
Yeah, so this is from that issue where the next image I drug over here, where they have actually being given the Infinity Stones by Reed Richards. And this is the first time they meet.
Okay.
And they have, in this issue, they have called Black Panther in, and then he's not actually in the issue, but he's pretty much like, yeah, no, this is a very bad idea. Like T'Challa says, it's just a bad idea. And none of them listen.
No, they immediately go forward with it.
Right.
And then they launch the Hulk into space.
Which is a horrible idea. So that is the storyline that they basically like, man, the Hulk is too dangerous. So we're gonna launch him into space and make him somebody else's problem.
Yeah.
Which leads to Planet Hulk, where a lot of Thor Ragnarok pulls the Gladiator, Scar, the planet, all that stuff. That is the Planet Hulk stuff.
Hulk-centric, you might imagine, in Planet Hulk than it is in Thor.
Yeah, and then from the Gladiator, he rises in also an old Conan thing, rises from that to Warrior, and then eventually takes over the whole planet.
Yeah,
and then there's World War Hulk, where he gets his bros from the planet and brings them back to Earth.
The planet blows up because the Hulk is happy there. He like leads the revolution, takes over the planet, has a wife basically. I don't know if they get officially married, but then Hulk married.
Fuck, how do I do?
Because the spaceship that they launched him in was like unstable, and its like reactor goes off and blows up the planet. So he's like, oh, fuck you all. You fucking launched me here, and I finally find happiness. And then the thing that you built to do all of this stuff kills like billions of people. Go to hell. I'm coming back with the surviving warriors I was able to evacuate. His wife dies. I don't know how his son factors into this, but Hulk has a son named Scar.
Yes.
Scar with 2 A's.
Okay.
That is born out of that relationship. and then he comes back to Earth and starts turning Earth, New York, essentially, because it's where all Marvel stuff happens, into a gladiator arena to be
Right.
like, hey, I'm gonna get my recompense against all of you. Go fuck
And
yourselves.
literally, that's what he does. He goes through and wrecks each of the Illuminati in turn,
Okay.
as a sort of, I just wanted you to know that I could destroy all of you at any point
Right.
when I wanted to. Like, Professor X is marginally easy, but he lets him go because I think that was just after House of M, maybe. Like
Mm.
it was something like he was just like, man, you're already bad off. I'm gonna let you go. But
House of
Iron
M is where most of the mutants on Earth get wiped out. Basically, the X gene stops propagating. People stop being mutants.
which is a Scarlet Witch thing, also.
Yeah, she does that. That's where, if you've seen the meme "No More Mutants," that's House of M.
So can I ask two very quick questions before we go deeper? Is Black Bolt the guy from the bad Inhuman show that can yell at people?
Yes.
Yell at guys. All right.
Yeah.
Yes.
He is way cooler in the comics than he is in that TV show. I would not even say he's that cool in the comics. He's pretty cool.
Yeah,
But
that show is bad.
it's a low bar, yeah.
But see, so there's another good example of these dudes just doing whatever.
Uh-huh.
So Miss Marvel, who's coming up with her own Disney Plus show, we don't know
Yes.
if she's going to be an Inhuman in the show, but she is an Inhuman in the comics.
Right.
Right.
And the reason she is because Black Bolt, they have a let's call it a eugenics program
Yeah.
called Terrigenesis, where
Okay.
all of their people, when they start essentially as human, and then when they get to a certain age, they are dropped into a chamber with Terrigen crystals, and they come out with a power. And whatever that power is determines where they are in the social hierarchy.
Uh-huh.
But they get to decide. It's like if you were a mutant, because it's like, oh, with the X gene stuff, it spikes at puberty. You get your X gene when you turn like 13, usually around there.
Okay.
It's like that, but it's artificially. You have to be an Inhuman. You have to have like the Inhuman gene, but it can't just happen. You have to huff some gas that comes out of a crystal,
Okay.
and they get to decide if you're worth the effort. If you get that
Okay.
power. And sometimes you go in, and it's like being a mutant in the Marvel universe. Sometimes you go in and you get mind control powers, and you're like, oh, sick, I get mind control powers.
sick.
And sometimes you come out and you look like the Blob from the 1980 Blob movie, and it's like, well, sorry, you just got unlucky on that one.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like, it sucks. It's like you come out and you're like, your power is like to dig real good. It's like, well, I guess you're going to go work in the mines, bro.
Mhm.
Sorry. Anyways,
Damn.
their stuff was going poorly, and Black Bolt decided, you know what? I'm just going to release Terrigen across the earth and turn as many people into Inhumans as possible, which is where Miss Marvel comes from.
Because Thanos is invading. That's like why they evacuate the Inhuman city of Attilan.
Now,
Thanos
oh, go ahead.
Thanos is coming with a big army. Those guys you saw in Infinity War that they kind of just kill off screen a bunch with the cool armor and weapons and stuff. That's his like crew. He comes to Earth. Thanos is looking for his son, Thane, who is an Inhuman. Not. I don't think it's actually his son's son. It's like his great nephew or something like that. I don't know, but he's related to Thanos in some way, and they call him son of Thanos a bunch. I think he doesn't really do much, honestly. For being the son of Thanos, you'd think he's more important, but he comes there. So he comes to the Inhuman city, and Black Bolt is like, oh, Inhumans, Thanos has a whole army. He's attacking. Most of the heroes on Earth are gone fighting some stuff that ties into Illuminati shit, actually, the builders. And Black Bolt is like, okay, if I don't do something, the Inhuman gene might die off here, because Thanos would just kill us all. So that's why he screams at the crystal so loud it blows up. Terrigen bomb, gas spreads across the planet. There's Inhumans versus X-Men. They're mad.
Which is because the Terrigen also sterilizes mutants.
Right.
Let's just throw that. So not
Oh.
only is it a worldwide turning people into Inhumans, whether they want to or not,
Right.
Wow.
it also sterilizes mutants.
So it is like it's not kind of a eugenics program. It's just a eugenics program.
Well, on its own, it was already a eugenics
Yeah,
program.
It was
sure.
literally
It's an
that.
extra little bit.
So this
Um,
so this guy's like
Inhumans-
one of the worst people in the universe then.
oh, they all are. Trust me.
All the guys at this table suck.
Okay.
Every last one of them. Like later on, there's an Illuminati thing where worlds are essentially colliding. I forget what the term they use for it is. I want to say
Incursions?
convergent incursions. That's
what
it.
it feels like when worlds collide. Sorry.
And basically, when two worlds in the multiverse collide,
Mm-hmm.
one of them is going to take over.
Okay.
And so
The other explodes.
and the other explodes. And basically, what the Illuminati at this time does is they go in and make sure that their world is the one that survives.
Uh-huh.
They're like, we are already giving up on saving everybody. We know that this is going to end with it's a battle royale of the multiverse, basically, but where nobody knows that they're in a battle royale except for like the Thanoses and the Illuminatis, like the big guys.
Okay.
And 99 Earths drop onto an island, and then only one gets to live at the end. And
Cool.
they're like, we aren't going to try and save the other people. They're like, we're going to make sure that Earth 616, which is the main Marvel universe, lives. We're going to make sure we win.
And Black Panther, at this point, this is the later version of the Illuminati. Black Panther's on it. Namor, they try to save worlds. Namor decides, you know what? No, I'm going to preemptively, anytime we see an incursion start to happen, I'm going to preemptively go over and fuck those guys up
What
before they can even like
what's-
do so. So
what's
half these
Namor,
people are.
what's Namor do though?
He's
mutant.
Aquaman. He's
Yeah.
Marvel Aquaman.
He's Marvel Aquaman, but also he can summon a tidal wave to just like if he wanted to kill all of New York.
Yeah.
Because he's got like water magic. And he's a king. Well, I guess Aquaman is also a king.
Yeah, he's Aquaman.
But he's also horny for the Invisible Woman.
So he's horny for everything. They've made that a so this
Originally,
image that I'm dragging in here is from the later version of the Illuminati, where Captain America, the events that we're talking about with the incursion, Captain America comes to them and is like, "Are y'all serious? You're gonna just destroy other worlds, to save us?" He's like, "That's just not right." And so they end up mind wiping Captain America, and the genesis of this story, like if people can read the comments, there is Captain America being like, "You guys think you're the smartest dudes, but I'm gonna stop you." And they mind wipe him, and then the catalyst for the story is Captain America waking up and being like, "Oh, these fuckers."
yeah. They literally bring him onto the Illuminati in this incarnation to be like, hey, we need a heart and soul guy. We need a guy who is going to keep us on the straight and narrow if we start veering into supervillain shit. And the absolute second it becomes inconvenient for them to have a guy who is there, like their fucking focus group guy in Iowa, who is going to be like, hey, this seems fucked up. They're like, you're out. Actually, it's actually a really great scene because Jonathan Hickman, who's the writer of this series and a lot of the multiverse stuff with Marvel in general, really understands these characters as they orbit around.
To storyline.
Yeah.
Very smart people pushing the limits too far, and ultimately, because of hubris, screwing everything up worse.
Okay.
That's where you get like kind of, correct me if I'm wrong on this, Mike, but right now one of the biggest bads in the Marvel universe, the one that they keep going back to, is the Maker, which is a creation of his.
So the Maker is and as I was saying, 50-50, these guys are always evil. The Maker is ultimate Reed Richards, who is just evil.
He's got a big head.
And like the Reed Richards that go evil generally go evil because Sue Storm didn't like them.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's like if Sue Storm didn't want to fuck Reed Richards would be like, okay, well, guess I'm ready to go. Guess I'm going evil now. Which is literally what happens. They have like they're together early on in the Ultimate Fantastic Four, but then they they split. Is that right?
Yes,
And then the second, yeah.
I forget who she ends up dating instead, but the second that that happens, he's just like, well, I guess I'm evil. I think he also has some, if I remember correctly, yeah, he has some Doctor Doom thing where like half of his face gets fucked up.
Yeah.
And
he makes his head really big.
And his stretchy powers. But anyways, the Maker, he's evil. He's just evil Reed Richards, and that's happens to half of them. A good half of Tony Starks are evil. A bunch of Xavier's a dick most of the time.
So
that's their plot.
What's the difference between a mutant and an Inhuman?
All right, so the
Steven completely exhausted by this question.
No, but it's a good question.
We were talking about earlier.
Okay.
The whole reason for that plot, apocryphally, there's been nobody that's stepped up and said, yes, this is what happened.
Okay.
Is that the Marvel Studios thing was really kicking off, going strong, going great. And Marvel, in the cinematic side, didn't own the rights to the X-Men.
Okay.
So logically, from a business sense, pushing the X-Men as one of your stronger lines didn't make sense.
Despite the fact that they had been pushing the Marvel pre-MCU might as well be X-Men plus everybody else. The comic side of thing for like the most of the 80s to 90s is mostly X-Men stuff. The Avengers were B grade.
We're very B grade. Right. A lot of people don't realize that is that the Avengers were really bad for a very long time, and no one cared like that.
No, I do have that. You know, like growing up in the early '90s, like you would go into a comic shop, you would turn on, you know, Saturday morning cartoons or whatever. Like it was X-Men. Like that was the predominant thing. So like when Avengers got kind of, you know, positioned this way by Marvel, it did feel like Marvel cinematic stuff. It did feel odd to me because that's not kind of what I associated with Marvel personally, because I wasn't that into it.
So the basic difference is Inhumans used to be the Terrigenesis chamber.
Okay.
And the Black Bolt releasing the Terrigen bomb was essentially just being like, what if we make it so that Inhumans
are
like mutants?
New mutants. Yeah. A new mutants, if you will.
Yes. And so Miss Marvel is one of those new Inhumans, which are more mutant-like, and they tried for quite a while. And this is also
so long.
This is also part of why the mutants went sterile. Like they were minimizing them. They put them in limbo for a while, like the X-Mansion was in limbo, and it's
for years there during all of this stuff, like the height of the Fox X-Men movies versus the Marvel Cinematic movies. They were like every storyline was about how the X-Men were just like another 10% of your population just got wiped out. Another thing happened. There's only 12 of you left on the planet now, I guess. Just like constantly putting them through hell, sometimes literally. Hell is a thing, and it's a whole thing.
It didn't work out, but that was the plan, because the difference between a mutant and a human is purely mutant. It happens automatically once you hit puberty or something like that.
Right.
And in human, you go through Terrigenesis.
Narratively, X-Men mutants are mostly natural. Was it the Celestials who seeded the X gene, or did they walk that back at some point?
I'm not going to go that far. Yes.
but so like the X gene has been a part of like the human genome since like the beginning of time, more or less, because big space aliens that you only saw in the Eternals movies, if you only watched the movies, they did that. The big Jack Kirby looking guys, because Jack Kirby made them.
Whereas
the Inhumans, narratively, where they come from is the Kree, the blue guys that Captain Marvel thought she was in that movie for a while, and sometimes they're blue. And there's white Kree. I think they're literally called white Kree. And the which is that's also a DC thing, white Martians, green Martians. Anyway, but the Kree were like 150 years ago, not a long time ago. We're like, we are going to do a bunch of experiments on different species throughout the galaxy to try and create bioweapons. And that's where the Inhumans came from. They're bioweapons created by the Kree thousands of years ago that rose up against their masters and then kind of said, like, well, we were created by a horrible eugenics experiment. What if we kept doing it, though?
Okay.
And then they lived on the moon. There's a blue area of the moon where there's air. And they lived on there for a while.
There's a blue area of the moon where there's air.
That's what it's called. The blue area of the moon.
And they had a whole castle and everything and a whole city under a dome. It's a lot.
Nick Fury lives there now because he's the new Watcher. He's the big. He's like.
They fixed that. He's back. He's back.
Oh, is he back? Is White Nick Fury back?
Yes.
I'm sorry. There's a white Nick Fury.
The original Nick Fury is white.
The original Nick Fury is white, and then his son Nick Fury Jr. is the Sam Jackson Nick Fury. They're both still existing, but it's yeah.
But the Sam Jackson Nick Fury is basically Ultimate Nick Fury because that's what the Ultimate Universe Nick Fury. The Ultimate Universe was Marvel basically being very, very upfront about we want these to be movies at some point, and these should just be spec scripts for movies. Yeah. So a bunch of the Ultimates, which is the Ultimate Universe version of the Avengers, are just modeled after actual working actors at the time.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's yeah.
Okay.
So I don't at least in the within the confines of this film, I don't think these guys are sticking around. I'm pretty sure they're like assuming, say, Tom Cruise, Patrick Stewart. I don't think the Fox X-Men are coming back in a major way. I think Marvel Studios is going to start solid on their own thing. If I were a betting man, I don't even think they'll refer to Xavier all that much because for a while, in most of the modern, until we got to the Krakoa era, Xavier was kind of a non-issue. He was kind of on the outs. The rest of the X-Men were finally like, "Oh man, you are such a dick. Do not come back. We're still going to call ourselves X-Men, but we don't want to see your ass."
Right.
Branding was important.
Right. So my guess is these are like Patrick Stewart's coming back for one shot. Tom Cruise is going to get his. I would not be surprised if one of those dudes was Bruce Campbell. This is a Sam Raimi movie.
Oh, yeah.
And Bruce Campbell is going to be somewhere in it.
Reed Richards.
Reed Richards, huh?
Make him beard like Jonathan Hickman, later era, like New Avengers, bearded Reed Richards.
Yeah, and that's I do wonder if they're going to either bring back one of the old Reed Richards, which would be what's his name? I don't think they'll do Miles Teller. Ian Griffith. I don't know.
That Welsh guy. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or
the guy from the 80s movie.
Or they'll do what they did with Kang and Loki and precast their actual Reed Richards.
Oh, is Kang? So I've fallen off of some MCU stuff lately. I've not watched Loki. Kang show up?
Yeah, Kang show up.
Yes, Kang shows up as He Who Remains towards the end of Loki.
Which Kang are we talking about? We talking about Kid Kang? We talking about
Jonathan Majors from what's it called?
From
Lovecraft Country and some other stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So he pops up as He Who Remains, which is sometimes the like full end Kang. the Immortus. So he
Yeah.
looks like Immortus essentially.
John, Kang is a time traveling conqueror who
Oh yeah,
Kang the
no,
Conqueror.
he introduces himself. In
Oh,
Loki.
is he? Okay.
Oh yeah.
He
explains
as,
it.
as part of the multiverse thing. He explains his entire like the other versions of himself.
Oh, really? Okay.
Who all
Immortus,
look
Kang.
like Kang.
Right. Wait.
Yeah, they all kind of look like they all just look like Kang.
Not when I say he explains the other versions of himself, I'm not saying like the Immortus, Kid Kang, Crimson, whatever his name is.
Kang the Annihilating Conqueror. Let's not forget.
Crimson Centurion. No, I mean like all of the other versions of him look like Kang. Like they are in the Kang getup, and the plot there is that there has been a multiversal war between Kangs.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So I wonder if they're going to, as I say, precast. Like they have already cast their Fantastic Four, Reed Richards,
Right.
and they're just going to drop him in here as part of the Illuminati
I think that
and
makes
kill
sense.
this version before they move on to because Fantastic Four is going to be 2024, and I'm damn sure it's going to be April 4th, 2024, because you do not throw away that date.
No.
If you can.
Oh, 444, 24.
Yes.
4424.
So yeah, they're definitely. I don't know if they'll either go back to an old one or pre-do one, but also yeah,
So
Bruce Campbell could do it.
let me ask y'all a question that probably has this is probably too big of a question. And I'm aware of that. But when I you know, I didn't grow up reading comics, and my introduction to the Fantastic Four was a cartoon, and then I saw the movie, and that first movie was what it was, and then that second movie was what it was, and then that third movie was what it was.
There's 4 movies too, John.
Oh, like the old 80s? There was like an 80s one, right?
It was like an early 90s maybe,
Early
but
90s,
they never
yeah.
released it.
Yeah, but that was
Corman
like
version.
yeah, that was like total garbo. I mean, they all were, I guess.
So
So
great.
sure. So yeah, that's my introduction to the Fantastic Four. But whenever anyone talks about the Fantastic Four that's into the comics, they're like, I'm so fucking psyched for the Fantastic Four. And I'm like, why?
Well, okay,
What?
well, one of the guys can stretch.
No,
One of the
no.
guys is a big rock.
I know.
And that's cool.
Yeah, I know. I get it.
One of the guys says the thing that CM Punk says, and CM Punk is cool.
That's
You know, CM Punk got that from
yeah,
him, right?
definitely the other way around. I don't understand it. I don't understand
They
like.
took so much blood out of my body.
Oh
no.
wow! Welcome,
Anyway,
welcome, Nikki.
The thing about the Fantastic Four is the Fantastic Four have been around literally longer than anybody else in comics, so they're tied into
Sure.
everything. They are the
Right.
first Stan Lee, Jack Kirby Marvel, like what would become modern Marvel comics.
Right.
So they're important in that way, and because they're important to a lot of dudes who grew up reading those comics
Uh-huh.
30 years ago, a lot of people like Jonathan Hickman put their whole asses into it when they write a Fantastic Four comic. So there are a lot of there's a lot of really bad
in a good way. Oh, okay, I see.
There's a lot of really bad Fantastic Four comics. There's also a lot of really good Fantastic Four comics because people who aren't who anybody reading Marvel comics care a lot about Fantastic Four.
Right.
So they put a lot of work into those stories.
And,
Tom Taylor
and
did an okay run.
and they're not just the run, but also there's this. They are superheroes, but they are supposed to be more explorers. So that kind of family, like Indiana Jones, or what's a better one? The Second National Treasure. Do they have kids in the Second National Treasure?
I don't think so.
I'm trying to think of one.
They got
Mummy
young Indiana
3? I
Mummy-
don't know.
Yeah, Mummy
just
2,
like the Mummy 2
Mummy
and
2.
3.
Yeah, where like the whole family is on the journey. So
Okay.
like at this point, the Fantastic Four is really like the Fantastic Six
Yeah. Well,
because it's the Fantastic Four plus their 2 kids.
Okay.
technically it's more like the Fantastic 28.
Oh,
We don't.
You are not going to talk about Gargoyle Man?
we're not going to talk about the
You have to
FF
talk about
thing.
Gargoyle Man.
Yes, they do occasionally bring in other people like Miss Thing or Spider-Man.
Miss Thing.
Miss Thing.
Miss Thing is Miss Thing is great. Is genuinely a great character because she's like literally a joke, but she was like, I guess I'll fucking do it. Which is the Fantastic Four decide to go time traveling with their kids, and like, we need to go on a family outing, so we're gonna go time traveling. But since it's time travel, we're gonna be gone for 6 months, but we'll just time travel right back here 6 minutes later. So, but
Great.
since we're gonna be gone for 6 minutes,
I said great. Yeah.
Oh,
Great.
yeah.
So, sounds like a great plan that won't go wrong.
well, right. Well, they literally say, in case this goes wrong, we're gonna have a backup Fantastic Four who's going to stand here and replace us for the time that we're gone for those 6 minutes. So they get She-Hulk to replace the Thing because She-Hulk and Ben Grimm are best friends. They're great friends. So he asks her, hey, do you want to be my stand-in? Reed asks Scott Lang, Ant-Man, to stand in for him. Johnny Storm forgets that he was supposed to do that, and then asks the woman he just slept with that night, hey, do you want to stand in for me? I don't have anybody else.
That's very funny.
And she's like, I guess. I don't know what this means, but I guess it's only for 6 minutes.
Yeah.
And she becomes Miss Thing because when Ben Grimm in like the 70s lost his powers for a little while, he wore a Thing robot suit that gave him Thing powers. And she's like, I don't have superpowers. I'm just a random lady that Johnny Storm was having sex with. I guess I'll wear this. And then she kind of like steps up and just starts doing actual hero shit.
Okay.
And Medusa is of the Black Bolt's wife. Medusa stands in for Sue Storm.
Huh.
And
they have a robot named Gargoyle Man.
And that's actually the second Miss Thing too. Oh god, I'd forgotten that one. The other one is a wrestler lady who just gets turned into the Thing.
Oh right, yeah.
So what? So Reed Richards, he's just Stretch Armstrong, right? He has no other things going for him.
He's smart.
He can literally stretch his brain to create more mass in his brain to make him smarter.
And he can stretch to his face.
Fucking thing I've ever heard.
Like Mode.
His face so it looks different. He can get super thin. Like he's as far as I can tell, unless you really work at it, he can't die. Like you can't like just stab him.
Yeah, he's Monkey D. Luffy. If you shoot him with a gun, bullets will just bounce off of him.
Huh.
So he's one of those kind of.
Why does he wear a suit then? Why doesn't he just just be hog out the whole time if he can't be killed?
He could. Mystique has become that now thanks to the movies where she's just naked all the time.
Yeah.
She didn't used to be. She used to wear like a white
white thing.
Dress.
Yeah. Mr. Fantastic is one of those characters like the Flash who, as we've worked very hard to explain his powers, he has become nigh powerful.
Yeah.
Just to explain out, like the Flash was the whole Speed Force thing was literally just to explain as we started understanding things like physics.
Yeah.
Right. Ant-Man is in a very similar space.
Very fast. Yeah, Ant-Man is that way too.
Because somebody was like looked at a physics, like I think it was Matt Fraction during the FF run, like looked at a physics textbook and he's like, oh, if you could change mass and density, if you had like absolute control over that, the entirety of like human civilization would be different.
Huh.
So he's like, well, if instead of, there's a part where they fight Dr. Doom at the end of that run, which is the post Hickman run, I believe. And he is like, oh, if I can change my mass and density, because when Ant-Man get big, he doesn't weigh 200 pounds. You know, he's not like 90 feet tall and made of paper. He gets heavy too. And then Matt Fraction was like, oh, that would make you a god, actually.
Right,
so Scott Lang figures that out and beats the shit out of Doom because he's like, I'll just make my entire body like as dense as a black hole, and I'm invincible and as strong as Galactus, and I can just punch you into another timeline or something.
Why didn't Ant-Man just do that?
Why didn't Ant-Man just do that?
Because Scott Lang is dumb.
Oh. Remember when he's standing in front of that huge glass wall at the house in Avengers Endgame, and then the wall fucking explodes, and he gets up and is completely fine.
He's completely fine.
Remember that?
Yeah, because I 1000% thought he was
I was
dead.
like, oh, this fucker's
And
dead.
he's like, oh wow, that sucks that another person died in this movie, but them's the breaks. But nope.
Them's the break. Shouldn't have been standing in front of that big glass window.
Yeah.
Someone in the chat put a post-it note on Iron Man down there.
Oh,
John, if you want to scroll.
is this gonna be already? No, we already talked about
Oh, we already
this.
talked about this.
Yeah,
Who is it?
it's gonna be Tom Cruise.
What?
Tom Cruise was supposed to be Iron
That's
Man.
the rumor. Yeah.
That's the
What?
rumor. Tom Cruise is
What?
going to be Iron Man. They're going to put an alternate universe Iron Man in there.
That short motherfucker is gonna be Iron Man?
Yeah. Robert Downey Jr. is not that
That's the
much
joke.
taller.
I think that's a Nicky joke.
How tall is RDJ?
People in chat are also asking questions like, what is stopping Ant-Man / Reed from just doing Vor? Let me tell you about
Nothing.
the Ultimate Comics.
Okay.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh, bad
Wait,
times.
why? Yeah, why don't they just get inside and then blow them up?
Now, what if I told you, Nikki, that they've done that?
Oh,
Done that. Again, the answer to most of these is most of the heroes don't kill. And if you ever wondered why no kill codes exist in
Cowards.
comics, it's not like the justification is after effect. No kill codes exist because otherwise most of these people would be dead.
Yeah. So, Nikki did raise a good question. Does 9/11 happen in any of the current?
this is not a
No.
joke question.
Yes, it does.
It did. There's a whole issue
It's
about it.
terrible. It's like who was that? Was that Miller?
It was either Miller or Bendis. Anyways,
Get
there's a whole
both.
issue about it, and it even has like the villains in front of
The villains are
rubble.
like, oh no, America has been attacked.
No way.
Oh,
Yeah.
John, I'm gonna show
No
you an
way.
image. I can't
Find it.
add
Let me
images. I'm putting it in here. I've got it. I'm putting it into the Discord.
What?
No
This is the most
way.
important comic in the post 9/11 era of Marvel Comics. It is one of the funniest images I've ever found in my entire life.
No way. All right.
How do I make it bigger?
I'll maybe try to find a bigger one.
Oh, I found. I know. I zoomed in.
All right. You want to move it up to the? Oh no, it's fine. This is fine.
Stupid. It's dumb. I can't. No.
Doctor Doom in the comic books at this point had a scene where he gave a big speech to a bunch of people in a big auditorium and everybody started clapping, and then he got down off the podium and then said to his right-hand man, shoot the first person who stops clapping. That's the level of Doctor Doom that they were working with at 9/11. And they were like, but he'd be sad about 9/11 though.
Yeah, so this is one of those things where the issue, as far as we know, is not in continuity, but Marvel was located in New York, so they wanted to do this
Oh.
full.
They were
Full
close
issue.
to it. Now,
Um,
so
Yeah, no, Stan
but
Lee
you-
was a first responder. People don't know that.
Stan Lee and Steve Buscemi. Okay, but does 9/11 happen in the MCU? No, right? Their 9/11 is in the
Chitauri.
Avengers movie.
The Chitauri invasion.
Yeah.
Wait,
In-
when was the first Iron Man? I think it was post.
It was post 9/11.
It was,
Yeah,
They
so
just don't ever talk about it. I think
Oh,
Nikki
so-
is positing that this is an alternate present.
Yes.
An alternate,
Yeah.
version of events.
Yeah, so it was already 9/11 had already happened in their world, and
It
probably
was chill and regular. Nobody cared.
Well,
Everyone was over it.
Iron Man didn't exist yet.
Oh, you right, because it was 2001.
if anything, that's why he makes
He
weapons.
made the weapons because of
Right.
the war. That's why he's in Afghanistan.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I forgot. I haven't seen Iron Man 1 in 75 years.
Oh yeah, no, the original Iron Man involves a lot of let's blow up Arabic countries kind of.
Yeah.
vibe.
Remember when he sits in the donut, though?
Was that second one?
You mean the
that
arc
was
That was
two.
in Iron Man 2.
That was Iron
Yeah.
Man 2.
Yeah, no, that it's. So yeah,
Wow.
the 9/11
Post 9/11
is a
Marvel
thing
is
that
wild.
happened.
Well, that sucks.
Yeah, no.
Have
Okay.
you talked about the Interdimensional Council of Reeds?
Tom Cruise?
No.
And in fact, I
It's back.
I think we're back.
Oh, okay. I'll save that till off there.
The Interdimensional Council of Reeds is.
Oh no! We're sorry. Streamlabs sent me a notification. I thought it was that we're down, but we're not. Sorry.
No.
Okay.
A lot of the modern ideas behind the stream is okay. A lot of the modern ideas of like the multiverse starts with Jonathan Hickman, who was an Ultimate Universe writer for a while.
Yes.
That's where he made Evil Reed Richards. He did a bunch of other stuff. Then jumps over to Marvel Marvel Universe proper. Starts writing Fantastic Four. Does a spin-off series called FF, which stands for Future Foundation. Johnny Storm dies because he gets left in the negative zone and eaten by a bunch of bugs, but not really. Spider-Man joins them for a while. If you've played the Spider-Man Insomniac games and you use the white suit, that's the suit. It's the Future Foundation suit of Spider-Man. But during that run, Reed is basically approached by other Reeds from other universes who are like, hey Reed, you've reached the peak now where we feel comfortable talking to you because you're smart enough. And here's the thing is like, we're all so smart in every universe that anytime a Reed gets really, really good and touches the multiverse and stuff like that, we invite them to join us, like Star Trek style. You've mastered warp technology, so now you can come and join Starfleet or the Federation,
right?
And they're like, we want you to come join us, but the catch is you have to give up on your family because it's a distraction. And our Reed Richards is like, well, fuck that though, but he tries to live in both worlds for a while. He's like, no, I can juggle both. And this Council of Reeds turns out to be, as you might imagine, massive dicks.
Right.
Whoa.
Yes, Audrey 512. This is where the Rick and Morty thing is from. It's literally almost called the same thing. They turn out to be massive dicks. They basically decide, well, we're smart in every universe, which means that Doctor Doom is evil in every universe. So we go around from universe to universe finding Victor Von Dooms and then lobotomizing them and putting them in a giant room together.
What?
That's
again, like half of the multiverse versions of these Illuminati dudes are evil
or bad. Yeah.
Now why is he zombie?
Yeah, what's this on my screen?
So there that is probably related to the what's it called? The zombie what if episode. If I had to guess.
Holy
Marvel
shit.
Zombies thing.
Which is a comic. There's a comic called Marvel Zombies, which is a universe where all the Marvel heroes get turned into zombies. Which I think is like Robert Kirkman, he at least wrote some of it, which is the creator of The Walking Dead.
That's great.
So
one idea.
I am going to shout
one
out.
Fucking idea.
There's a shot of another Strange, and he is wearing the costume from the Defenders, which was also Matt Fraction.
Right. Defenders is like street level Avengers. It's Luke Cage usually.
Yeah, Luke Cage and them.
Well, street level in the now.
Oh, okay. I was about to say because like I see the fucking Silver Surfer here, and like that's not street level.
Yeah, for a while the Defenders were Hulk, Strange, Silver Surfer, and Namor. And they basically did the Illuminati stuff before Illuminati.
And some guy with a camera. Who the fuck is that?
I think it's just like literally a reporter or something.
Okay.
Just a guy, and he gets to be on the fucking cover.
It's the guy from Rent that films everything.
Is that person
Fraction likes to do that though?
Wait, which person?
Underneath a red lady in the middle.
Red She-Hulk.
To the left.
To the left with the clouds. Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Who is that?
Who's that?
Just don't worry about it.
No. I'm gonna worry
You don't
about
have to worry about
that.
90% of these characters. There's like 3 characters on display.
Oh, the gold. Wait, spoilers for the video game Guardians of the Galaxy. That guy's in. That's that guy, right?
Adam Warlock? I don't think that's Adam Warlock.
Oh, it's just a different golden guy.
Mike, is that Adam Warlock? That's not a costume I've seen Adam Warlock wear.
His skin is gold.
No, I don't think that's Adam Warlock.
So there's just another white guy who is gold.
Nikki, if I told you how many blue people there are in Marvel, it would blow your mind.
So it's not that guy.
I don't think so. No, he usually has a thing on his head is the thing, because the Soul Stone, the original Soul Gem from Infinity, the Infinity Gauntlet and all that stuff, that was originally a rock that lived on his head called the Soul Stone that was retconned into being an Infinity Stone, and then they had to rip it off of his head.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember who the gold guy is. The lady with the clouds is, you're going to be disappointed.
Oh.
It's just Cloud. Like that's
it's
I
Cloud.
know, but she I'm not disappointed. This is a woman who has decided I was asking with Reed Richards, why doesn't he just hang brain all the time? Like this lady has decided I don't need clothes, I can control clouds.
And it's weird because so that's her old look, but
Uh-huh.
if I remember correctly in this run,
Right.
she becomes like Cloud becomes like a sort of cosmic thing.
Okay.
Everybody becomes a cosmic thing eventually.
Yeah, it's
at some point they all realize that all these people would just be cosmic gods, so they just become
Right.
that in the comics.
Okay.
Monica Rambeau has a whole thing during the incursions where she realizes that she can move as fast as light because she's literally made of light. And she's like, oh, if I can move that fast, if I just fly at the speed of light at one of these Earths, I can blow up this Earth with like a headbutt. And she tries to do that, and then she's about to hit the planet and kill them and save Marvel Universe.
Right.
But then sees like a kid and is like, has to like live with like, oh, I'm about to smash into this planet, but then she like sees people and she's like, nah, I can't go through with this at the last possible second, and then evil Reed Richards puts her in a bubble.
So okay,
the last bit, and this is going to be what seems to be a fairly major character and probably the fulcrum around which the entire plot revolves around. This is America Chavez, played by, and I don't want to mess up her name, Xochitl Gomez. Like,
hold on, I got you. Hold on. Xochitl Gomez is how I would say Xochitl, but I might be wrong.
I think it is.
It's Xochitl. I would say that's Xochitl.
It's probably Xochitl. Yeah, Xochitl Gomez.
Yes. So she plays America Chavez, who, to go quick through, she gets the rogue, the flying brick power set, which is she's pretty tough, she's super strong, she can fly, but also if you see the stars there, she can create portals to other realities, and
just like Captain America,
and kick right through them.
Yeah.
All right.
She can also just like teleport that way, basically.
Wow.
Like,
and so my guess is, given that she can, in the comics, easily traverse multiverses.
Yeah. Pretty important.
She is the fulcrum of this entire plot. Like, everyone is trying to get her, since she can just travel multiverses without struggling.
Right.
And do you think she is friends with Kate Bishop in the MCU?
Not yet. And in fact, she's a little bit like a lot of people, by the way. There's a America Chavez, Kate Bishop shipping thing. Even though of that group of young Avengers, I think Kate is the only straight one.
No, okay, so this gets addressed in the Kieran Gillen, the last issue of the Kieran Gillen run of Young Avengers. This is the first issue of that run. So that's Novar, which is.
I'm really sorry, Steven. I just need to ask you a question.
What?
Did Marvel hand this over to a teen? Because this cover looks.
That is a very, very rude thing to say about Jamie McKelvey, who is actually a fantastic artist.
Wow, John. What the fuck, John?
This why would you say that? Looks like a fucking DeviantArt account.
Wait,
that's terrible.
What's up with... Okay, wait. I'm confused. First of all, is America grabbing my shirt? What did I do?
Probably an evil person shirt.
What the fuck did I do? I didn't do shit. Second of all...
You are evil.
Is the guy in the white hair, Danny Phantom, is that a gun?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. He is Novar. That's he's
Marvel Boy.
Marvel Boy.
And then the scrub on the left, that's baby Doctor Strange?
The scrub on the left?
Wiccan.
His name is Wiccan?
Not anymore. They changed it, didn't they?
I don't think so.
I think it's what's his name, the guy who's writing the current Hulk run. He did a whole thing
Doctor.
where he changed his name because
okay.
there is a whole part where somebody's like, naming yourself after a religion is kind of weird.
Yeah,
and he's
that's
like, yeah,
pretty
you're
weird.
right.
Wiccan
Yes.
or Demiurge. One of those is
Demiurge.
better than the other one, and it's Wiccan.
Demiurge
Now-
was the new name, but that
now-
was also he was turning evil, so maybe they don't use that actually.
So this is Justin Bieber that gets the Hulk radiation.
That's Hulkling.
Sure
He
it is,
and
sure
the
it is.
and okay, so the one
Fuck
okay,
this stupid shit.
shut up.
Wow.
I love Jamie McKelvey. This is like okay, so this is Kieran Gillen, former games journalist Kieran Gillen, who's like one of the big Marvel names working today.
Okay.
Also a big indie writer. One of his long-term collaborators is an artist named Jamie McKelvey. Worked with him
Sure.
on Phonograph.
I'm
and a
sure
bunch of
they're
other- and
great.
Wicked and the Divine.
This was a miss.
Okay. And so this team is in the center. We got America Chavez, who Mike has explained. Novar, Marvel Boy.
Okay.
Wiccan in the cape is WandaVision's son.
Oh, okay.
He is dating the green guy,
Oh,
Hulkling
okay.
behind him,
Sure.
who is half Skrull, I think is his thing. So he looks like a Hulk, but he's
So he's half Kree, half Skrull. That's
Kree, half
that,
Skrull.
that is the thing that he tilts around is that he is Captain Marvel, the original Marvel son,
Captain Marvel. Yeah.
Oh,
Skrull.
Marvel. Okay, sure.
and the Kree and the Skrull, like the Captain Marvel movie, are always at war. So
Okay.
he
Yeah.
is sort of this fulcrum of peace that they can tilt around.
Okay.
I think he's currently the emperor. They may have changed that recently.
He was the
But
emperor
when
for a
they
while.
got married, he became the emperor of both sides. Like everyone just like come together.
Prodigy is so the guy in yellow is a former X-Man. I don't know if he still is. He had superpowers, which his superpowers are that if he's like within 20 yards of somebody, he knows everything that they know how to do. So if they know kung fu, he suddenly
Whoa.
knows all of their kung fu, and he keeps that information forever. He
Oh,
lost
forever?
forever.
Wow.
He
So
lost
this
his-
dude should just go into like he should go to every fucking concert. He should go to every fucking museum
That's the thing,
opening.
yeah.
It was temporary, but then it became forever.
Right.
So I also put up
Vision?
the other. Yes. Okay. So I put up the other Young Avengers. So
That's the original Young Avengers.
that's the original team. And the reason I did that is because most of these characters have Eli there in the center, Patriot. Appeared on Falcon and Winter Soldier. Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania. This is Stature, Scott Lang's daughter. She's been recast for the upcoming movie.
Oh,
Kate
I like
Bishop.
that. I like the other lady.
Oh,
Yeah, she's been recast as Catherine Hahn, I think, to look more like the character in the comics.
Wait,
Wait, what?
what?
Yeah,
No.
wait,
not-
Catherine Hahn from
WandaVision?
WandaVision?
no, the other one, the young one. What's I
Young
forget-
Catherine Hahn.
What's her name? What is her name?
Young Catherine?
I was like,
Hahn.
are we just casting Catherine Hahn for everything now?
Forget
That's
what is her actual name? Give me a sec.
Ant-Man
While you look that up,
Quantumania.
I do just want to say what I was originally going to
Yeah,
say was
sorry,
so this
Steven.
whole is so America Chavez I think is just gay. Novar is like pansexual because he's a weird alien shapeshifter.
Uh-huh.
Wiccan and Hulkling are gay. Prodigy because he gains all of the knowledge of everybody else who he's been around ever.
Sure.
They establish in that Young Avengers run that like he was originally thought he was straight, and he thinks like maybe being around people who were into guys made him also that. So he's like just bisexual now too.
Sure.
Kate Bishop is the only at time of publishing was the only straight character, and then Loki at the end of that run is like, because Loki is also on this team. They don't show him on this cover, but Kid Loki, because Loki was a child for a while here.
That's my
which is why
favorite
I-
rapper.
Kid Loki, aka Kid Loki, aka the Avengers nemesis.
Uh-huh.
He was one of the main characters. That's why I asked you, John, if Loki ate a bird.
I
Because
don't
this.
remember that, but no,
Oh.
yeah.
All right.
No. I remember you asking me. I don't remember him eating a bird. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
And as of this, and they also did West Coast Avengers,
Right.
where Kate again had a boyfriend, and that boyfriend again turned out to be bisexual. Uh, um, where they again reinforced that somehow she just ends up on teams as the only straight person somehow. It's very weird.
So that's what I'm saying is at the last issue of this thing. So all of these characters are like making out with each other because it's Young Avengers. They're all in relationships. They all are gay and queer and bi and all this stuff. And then at the end, like Loki is kind of talking about how like he is queer and also like gender fluid and stuff like that because sometimes he's a lady in the comics.
Sure.
And that becomes like a bigger thing, you know, as people start caring more about that stuff. They've made that a bigger thing of his character in the comics now. And so he starts talking about that near the end of the run, and Kate Bishop like looks around at everybody. He's like, "Wait, am I the only person in this entire team who's straight?" And America
says,
"Yeah." America kicks open a portal. It's like the last shot of the comic, and she's like, "Listen, I've seen the way that you look at me. You ain't that straight." And then like walks through the portal.
Called out.
But so far, she has not currently. And then again, West Coast Avengers makes the joke because she ends up with another boyfriend, and then Novar comes back, and her new boyfriend and Novar hit it off, and she is again like, wait a minute, seriously?
All her boyfriends leave her for other men.
Wow. She got track record.
Yeah, she's got a track record. So
there's also some weird stuff where she was like, there was some like weird will they won't they stuff with her and Clint, despite the like being like a 20-year age gap. That was kind of
wait between America or between Kate Bishop?
Kate Bishop and Clint
and Clint?
Like Hawkeye. Yeah.
Oh well, that's not going to happen in the MCU.
Yeah. No, they've mostly
they got away from that.
Someone did point out, like, and people did wonder that if they cast young Miss Gomez, who is playing America Chavez, seemed a little bit young for the character, and someone was like, did they cast her young to avoid the shipping with Kate?
Yeah,
maybe. Well, entirely possible. I mean,
Kate older in the show, in the Hawkeye show.
No, I mean she's like right out of college.
She's what's her name?
Haley Steinfeld.
Bumblebee's friend.
Like, in her 20s.
Because America in the comics is early 20s, but like I don't know, it's not a lot to go off of just from this trailer. But she looks so like wide-eyed, starry-eyed young hero, more like a Miss Marvel, really. Because America Chavez in the comics is like a hardcore motherfucker, just punches people into other timelines, doesn't give one fuck.
But yeah, so they've introduced a number of these characters. I would not be surprised if the Marvels, which is the upcoming Captain Marvel sequel, introduces Hulkling. At which point we would only need Wanda's kids to come back to sort of finish at least the original team minus Vision.
Who's her other kid?
Speed,
yeah.
Who is fake Quicksilver.
Sorry, so she has a kid, and then the kid has the same powers as her stupid brother, who has the ability to run so fucking fast, but didn't run fast enough to not get shot.
Yeah.
God, that made me laugh so fucking hard. I was so over Age of Ultron by that point in the motion picture that I laughed when he passed away from not running fast enough to not get shot.
You could watch in that movie, you could watch the executives decide that only one of those kids is gonna live.
Watch them flip a coin on who. Do we have the random person whose name no one remembers, or Elizabeth Olsen?
We have a fucking Olsen. Yeah.
The weird thing is like you can like he makes the cardinal mistake that I see in a lot of like action movies I hate. Like, don't push.
No, never.
Grab and dive together.
Grab and dive together. Just tackle them. If they snap their neck, that's fine.
Because he saves in the preceding train scene. He is running fast enough and saves so many people from in front of this train that there's no way.
It's
momentary loss of intelligence.
it's not this. It's not the same thing, even though they are the same character. So the I don't know how it ended up working out this way, but Quicksilver shows up in the X-Men movies, the Fox X-Men movies, and in these, and he's the same guy in the comics, but they just like don't talk about that ever.
Right.
Yeah.
Did you watch did you watch WandaVision?
I've not watched WandaVision.
No. Okay.
I know
You
that
gotta watch WandaVision.
I know enough about WandaVision now to know that, because everybody has just been talking about that line from this trailer where they're like, I break the rules and I get in trouble and you do it. And it's like, and everybody's just like, you enslaved the town.
You enslaved a town. Yeah.
You did a slavery.
So
you did a slavery, and the other guy was just trying to help his child friend get into college. So if you think about it,
by doing a world mind wipe, let us not.
It's not like he made everybody forget algebra. It's just like to forget that this kid is this other guy.
One guy.
Yeah,
he just nuked his fucking Facebook account.
Fucking stupid.
It's
I just found out by reading the Wikipedia page for the 4th phase of the Marvel Cinematic Universe that the guy who directed Spider-Man, the most recent one, is directing Fantastic Four, and I have zero faith. Because
from what I've heard about that movie from you, Nikki,
Spider-Man was bad.
I did not like it either. I am on the same page with you.
That's the first one I went into.
But we're in the minority, though. We are in the minority of that. Yeah.
That's the first MCU movie that I went into expecting to like it and walked out unhappy.
Do you want like the not the opposite, but do you want
watched Eternals?
Yeah, it's like, do you want the experience of knowing something will be bad and then it surpassing those expectations?
No.
Somehow?
I once I saw them turn that bus into dust, and then which had people on it in the trailer, and no one was like, hey, you killed all those people on that bus, I was like, I'm good.
Oh, in the
This doesn't seem like it yeah.
Oh, there was one guy on that bus and he was fine.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's just, no, the actual stupid thing there, Nikki, is that there was just an empty bus driving through there.
Oh,
and there's no people.
I thought there were people on the bus.
No, there was nobody in that bus. She turned it into rose petals and the guy was fine.
Yeah.
Oh,
that's
well,
what happens.
I still don't want to watch it.
That's a bad movie.
It's not good.
I mean, I will point out that Doctor Strange, another bus gets thrown and he saws right through it.
Now that's cool, though, is the thing.
Are there people in that bus?
Well, but if it's sawed right in half,
if it's right in half, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Fine.
You know,
what if it goes down the center?
If you're standing in the middle of the bus, that's your own problem.
Out for leg room, John.
Well,
if you have your legs in the fucking aisle on a bus, you deserve to get it cut off.
You deserve
Sorry.
it. Yeah.
Hey, also, I'm just realizing that the last Marvel movie I saw also has an extended bus thing.
Scene? What's the deal?
What's going on?
Yeah.
Buses are easy. Is legitimately what it is.
Yeah.
It's easy to get a bus.
Yeah, that's true.
And then buses are also like, if you're gonna do a set piece, everyone knows the bounds and confines of a bus, so it's really easy to write a fight scene in a bus.
Except they don't, though. Like,
well, that's the thing.
The only one that does.
That's the only good one.
Yeah,
that's the only good bus scene out of all this, because it's the only one with any stakes with people and like where they actually hired extras.
No, the one. It's a bad one, but there's one where in Captain Marvel she fights in the metro, which somehow goes through downtown LA, which is
not true.
Literally don't even remember that.
Yeah, no, she fights. It's the one
where she sees the old lady. Yeah, the old lady fight.
Yeah, the scroll.
Where she meets Stan Lee.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he's reading the script to Mallrats, Clerks. One of the two.
Mallrats. I think it was Mallrats. Yeah.
What I'm realizing is that I remember almost nothing of that movie.
It's kind of a weird one.
Captain Marvel's really weird. I liked it because they remembered that Coulson existed.
Yeah.
So that's to me, it's a good movie.
Or whatever.
Well, yeah, but they got him a check, you know?
Yeah.
I'm just worried about Clark Gregg's wallet.
Yeah. Oh, are you?
If they fucking put the Black Bolt Inhuman guy in before they acknowledge to any of the remaining Avengers that fucking Coulson's alive, I'm gonna burn a building down.
I mean, they will put that. I feel like you'll get a Black Bolt. I mean, why?
Because Coulson is great. Everyone needs to drop what they're doing, stop watching this, and go watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the best television program ever made.
Mike, Nikki and I are stalwart Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. defenders.
Because that show fucking whips. It's the most Saturday morning cartoon show I've ever seen that was on primetime television.
It's the most fun that they've had with the Marvel Universe since like Iron Man 2 or something. Like
there's a scene where Coulson grabs a rock he's not supposed to grab, and it starts hurting his hand a lot. And then Mac, who's just a tall black guy, grabs an axe off the wall and then cuts Coulson's hand off. And then Coulson's like, "Why?"
Well, it's infecting his body, and they're
infecting his body, but they cut his whole hand off in the TV show on TV.
And then they give him a robot hand.
And then he gets a robot hand.
And they make a joke about it in like season 3. They're saying like he's like makes a joke that he has a laser pinky, and then they don't pay it off for like another 3 seasons, and then he does have one. Pinky. It's so whips.
Wait. See, you've watched all of Agent Shield, and you have not watched any of the Disney Plus shows.
Right, because one of them is good and the other ones are not good. Mike, what don't you get?
WandaVision is good. Loki is good.
I will watch. I'm going to watch Loki probably this week. I started watching Dirty Pair this week. I'm going to put it on pause for Loki.
Steven, you and I were watching Loki together because I haven't seen it.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Winter Soldier is uneven. It is uneven.
I would.
That's the first one, right?
Hawkeye is pretty good.
There have been 4
until the end.
There have been 4 series, right? It's
yes.
All right,
I
so
have to watch all of them.
I would say, Falcon Winter Soldier is like the bottom for sure.
Yes.
For me, WandaVision would be above that, and then it's Loki, and then it's Hawkeye. I thought Hawkeye was great. Was really good.
They just adapted an incredibly good Hawkeye comic, almost shot for shot, right? Like
yeah,
it's
a Christmas show, and I'm a sucker for that too.
Yeah, just like the comic was.
Yeah.
And then it's good. I think that's hey, sure. Yeah. They should pay those writers more though.
Yeah.
And artists.
I disagree.
Those guys should get royalties if their stuff is so direct. Like I think it's a perfectly good idea to use that stuff as spec script stuff, but only if you also add
there's a payoff.
Yeah.
I mean, at least one of them did. Fraction did. He got consulting producer. So
okay.
He was like, yeah, no, I went on set and everything.
They shouldn't have to.
Aja was the one that did not.
Now, is Matt Fraction his given name, or did he make that up when he got to LA?
I think it's fake.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Fraction is not his real name.
Okay.
Matt Fraction, born Matt Fritchman.
Okay.
You know what? I get that. I get
it. All right, folks, we're gonna wrap this up.
As a thing to wrap it up, unrelated to the Marvel Universe, news just came in that Netflix is doing a Bioshock movie.
All right, everybody, thank you so much for watching this week. We'll be back never again. Damn.
Are there any other details? Is it just a straight adaptation of the original?
It just says no writer or filmmakers on board.
I believe that there's no writer.
This is literally we're gonna try to do Bioshock, and it's probably the first one from.
I think we should just start with Infinite so they can shut the whole fucking platform down.
Yeah, that would be good.
What do you think? Remember, do you ever think? I know you're trying to get us out of here, John.
Yeah, I am.
But yesterday,
I have to eat before my meetings.
Yeah, yesterday I was thinking about how the first 2 shows on Netflix that were original programming on Netflix, Netflix, were House of Cards.
Yes.
And then they followed that one up with Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. And now I look back at then and I'm like, wow. People were like, this is it, the beginning of the golden age of television.
Right.
And then you think about where the quote golden age of television started. Pretty bad beginnings.
Are you telling me you don't like Jupiter's Legacy or Red Notice?
Nope. Wait, they made Jupiter's Legacy into a show?
Oh, okay.
Oh no, it's original. It's just those are original movies.
See, Steven, they bought Mark Miller.
Yeah.
They acquired Miller World outright. All he is now is a Netflix executive who creates new ideas and shows for them.
Right.
Okay. That was a comic book.
Yeah. So Jupiter's Legacy was their first show, and it flopped so hard that they canceled it, and they're like, no, it's not getting a second season.
Do you know how hard it is to not get renewed at Netflix
for at least one season,
for at least 2 seasons?
And I guess the issue with Jupiter's Legacy is probably the same one that they had with Cowboy Bebop, because like when the Nielsen numbers came out, they weren't horrible,
right?
Which tells me that it was probably too expensive.
Yeah.
In both cases, that like it wasn't that it flopped in terms of people actually viewing it, but it didn't do enough for how much they spent on it.
The idea that Cowboy Bebop was too expensive, though, is one of the funniest things I can imagine, because
sci-fi is expensive.
I know, but I thought that show mostly looked like shit. But
yeah,
I don't know. I also think the new Lord of the Rings looks like shit.
You think the new Lord of the Rings looks like shit?
It does.
Too.
It looks like shit.
That cost a ton.
That looks like shit. And like, it might be expensive, but it looks like a fucking Ren Fair photo shoot. It is garbage. Like, it looks so bad and uninteresting to me in a way that feels like a natural evolution of where we started with the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings stuff, which was interesting but also a little bit sterile. But then it just got worse as it went through The Hobbit, and then now this is what it looks like, and this is what Middle Earth looks like, and it looks like total shit. Anyway, that's what I think.
Yeah, I mean, it looks better than more expensive than Wheel of Time.
It does. Yeah, that's not a high bar.
So $50 instead of $25.
That's not a high bar. When I found out that Wheel of Time, I think, cost $80 million to make, I was like, "Where? What did you spend it on?"
And also realize, even if Lord of the Rings is bad, like Amazon is committed. Like I think their deal requires like 5 seasons.
It's a 5-season run that is, I think, like basically guaranteed. And I think they'll spend about $1 billion over that time, which is wild to me. Who knows what someone's writing? I don't know what.
Who knows what the future will bring us? Many things.
Watch The Watchmen. Oh,
Uatu the Watcher. So White Nick Fury shot Uatu the Watcher in the head on the moon, and he stole his eyes because his eyes were like hard drives.
So much,
and the hard drives had all of the world's secrets. And Nick Fury was like, "I'm going to help you."
Yep. No worries.
I'm gonna help you by fighting off these evil guys. It's Midas and his daughter and Orb, who is a man with a giant eyeball for a head, and he kills
Can you hurry up with
Uatu
those links, Nikki?
Because
I got him.
The eyeballs. He takes those. They chain him to the moon as
we'll
a
be back
punishment.
this afternoon with
they turn him into the
I
unseen.
believe not a BoJack.
A BoJack Horseman gameplay.
No, a Banjo Kazooie.
I have depression.
Wow. I mean, that is pretty much what the show is.
Galactus is gold because
there's a banjo stream coming up
Lifebringer
with Danielle, and I think we're going to stream something after
America
that.
Chavez says she's like a paramedic of the multiverse.
Burying Fuser.
Okay. Oh, burying Fuser. That's cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, Uatu the Watcher. Uatu the Watcher?
Uatu.
No, okay, so the Pokemon's name is Xatu, which evolves from Natu, which is a Pokemon that is shaped like a round owl.